Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about shooting low budget anamorphic using the SLRMagic anamorphic lenses, because I think they're the best low budget anamorphic lenses you can get. I know you can do the projector lenses, trust me, I've been there, done that, but I prefer these kinds of setups. So I got the prime lens by SLRMagic, and I've also got their adapter, which is the 1.3 times adapter. So that'll fit on micro four third lenses, Sony lenses, EF lenses, as long as the thread on the front of the taken lens is 52 millimeter. You can go slightly smaller, like 46 and so on, but don't go bigger on the lens, because if the lens taking is larger thread than 52, you're gonna get some kind of vignetting, it's just not gonna look right. So 52 millimeter is the best. And right here I got the 50 millimeter 2.8 because it's my favorite version of SLRMagic prime lenses. The 35 I didn't like too much, and the 70 millimeter prime is just a bit too slow at f4. So this is the best version that I like, and what I'll do is I'll show you just the differences between as low budget as you can get. So the prime lens is about 3,300 pound, and the adapter is between 700, 800 pound, and then whatever lens that you want to put on that. So because I don't have a 52 millimeter thread lens, my art series is 77 to 50 mil. So I went out and bought this super cheap 50 mil lens. Talk about nifty 50. It looks pretty good for what it does. It feels so fake and plastic, but we'll just show the examples of what you can get going super cheap. So from 3,300 pound to about 700 pound for that, and literally 50 pound for that. So I'll show the differences and we'll see what we can get out of it. So this is a test with the Blackmagic Ursa Mini 4.6K. Right now we got the 50 mil 2.8 prime lens by SLRMagic, which is the 1.3 times crop. And this is what it looks like. And in a second I will put on a cheap 50 mil 1.8 lens, obviously set at the 2.8 with the adapter, and see what it looks like. Okay, so this is the look with the cheap 50 mil and the 1.3 times adapter. I haven't moved the camera. Obviously the frame is going to be slightly different depending on the size of the lens compared to, you know, the SLRMagic prime lens is quite long. But this is what it looks like. So we're at 2.8 as well, so everything's the same. Coming from this test, looking at it right now, obviously I'll tell in a second, I think the prime lens is sharper. It has a slightly better look, but obviously this way is doing it nice and cheap. But the focus can be quite annoying doing it this way, because you got to focus on both lenses. So a little handheld movement test in the hallway, testing what it looks like on the window and the curves. And when I pan across, this is the cheap version with the cheap lens and cheap adapter. Okay, same setup, same kind of distance, just seeing how things naturally curve on this anamorphic lens. This is the prime lens. Okay, so this is the SLRMagic prime lens. We're set at f5.6 to get the exposure, and we are on focus on the coffee machine, the Kenwood. And this is what it looks like with this lens. Okay, so this is the exact same setup. This time it's the cheap lens and the adapter, focused on the same spot, f5.6, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is the bonus of having two different lenses, as the taken lens could be as fast as 1.4, 1.8, 1.2, depending on the lens that you have, as long as it's 52 thread, so you don't get any vignetting when you screw the adapter on. Obviously this lens, as I said, I picked it up super cheap, so wide open. It's a little bit soft and milky anyways, but this is the bonus that you get at 1.8, and now I'll show you the difference between the prime lens with the maximum 2.8 aperture. Okay, so this is the prime lens, maximum 2.8 aperture. Say this is all the light you got. That's how much light you're losing. So imagine it with a 1.2 or 1.4 lens. But just remember, if you get the PL mount version prime lenses, you can get a PL mount to EF. So if you are using our micro four thirds systems, you can have a speed booster, whereas micro four thirds lenses, you obviously, you know, you're stuck at that range. Okay, so I think the 50 mil is too soft and milky, so I'm doing a test now with the 20 mil luminous lens on the GH5, and as you can see with the 20 mil by itself and with the anamorphic adapter, they are sharp on both shots. So the main bonuses about having the prime lens is obviously you can get single focus, as I mentioned a second ago, which is really, really nice. As I mentioned in previous videos, if you want to get close focus with these lenses, because they're a maximum of 3-4 feet, you need to get a close diopter for it. Whereas these ones are a pain because you have to focus on this lens and you have to focus on this lens. So pretty much the same way you kind of had to do it on projector lenses. So those are the downsides of having the cheap version adapters. But the plus side of having these is you really do have as many lenses as you want to put with it. So say if you can only afford the 50 mil you know, that's good. If you get the PL mount, you can adapt it to, you know, micro four thirds and speed boosters and things like that. So you can kind of get a lot of uses out of this, but with the adapter, you can basically put it on a 50 mil, you can put it on 85 mil, 100 mil, whatever you want. For Super 35 sensors, I wouldn't go any wider than maybe a 35, because you're just gonna get some weird looking shots and too much vignetting. So, and as wide on a micro four thirds system, you could probably use this with a 20 mil, maybe a 15 mil micro four thirds. So you got lots of options with using this, and you obviously got threads on the front as well if you want to use ND, things like that. So that works really, really well, but I'm still a fan of their prime lenses. So the only other company that I can think of that do affordable anamorphic lenses coming out is by AtlasLensCo, and hopefully I'll get to use those soon because they look really, really nice. But yeah, this is the best budget that you can get. I still prefer running around with this lens. I just feel I got the confidence to pull focus with this. Whereas, as mentioned before, these are really good, but you're gonna kind of have to set up your shots perfectly and know where your focus points are, because you don't really want to be focusing on two lenses as you're running around, because it's a big pain in the ass. So yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys dig the video. Hope it helps you out, and I guess I'll check you next time.